Hello friends, my name is Kumar and welcome back to our channel Kumar Programming. This is the 8th part of Docker series where we are going to learn about Docker volume. And also we will learn all the type of Docker volume along with the practical demonstration. And now let's see further what we have covered so far. In our previous video, we have learned how to debug our Docker container. And in this video, we are going to cover about Docker volume and Docker mount. Now let's quickly see that what all the things that we are going to cover in this video. What is Docker volume types and their features. And also we will learn about Docker volume commands and how to create all type of volumes and verify them. And eventually we are going to learn how to define volume in our Docker Compose file. So now let's start, and first of all we will see that what is Docker volume. So in order to understand volume, first of all, let's see why volume comes into the picture, right? So if you remember that in our previous sessions, we have created our applications, and on top of that, we created our Docker file, and from that Docker file, we created image, right? And from that image, we created containers. And this container could be anything. This container could be your front-end application or it could be your back-end application. So see here, this is my container and which is generating some data, right? So this data is associated with this container. So here there was a problem. Suppose that this container got crash, right? After some time. So what will happen? So if our container got crash, then we will be losing our data as well. So this was not the ideal situation, right? So there is a solution come into the picture, which is Docker volume, right? So what they said, detach this data from the container, right? So once we detach this data from the container, it comes as a volume. And now here the benefit is this volume is separated from the containers. And suppose that in future this container got crash, but our data will persist, right? So we will create a new container and the new container will be associated with the existing data, right? So we will be having our data persist. And the other benefit is this volume can be shared with the multiple containers. So same data can be shared with multiple containers and all those containers can use this volume. Now let's see what is the definition of this Docker volume. So it would be very easy to understand now. So Docker volume is a storage mechanism, right, for persisting data generated and used by Docker containers. And they allow data to exist outside the life cycle of container, ensuring that data is not lost when container are stopped or removed, right? And volumes are managed by Docker and can be created, listed, inspected, and removed by using Docker commands. So it's quite easy, isn't it? Now let's move and further see how many type of volumes are there. So mainly we have four type of volume. The first one is named volume, where we are giving a name to the volume. And the second one we have anonymous volume. Anonymous volume are the volume for which we are not assigning any name. Those volumes are known as a anonymous volume. And bind mount. Bind mount is also known as a host volume. And the volume is getting stored at the host machine. I'll show you in my practical demonstration how this host volume or bind mounts are associated with host files. And the last one we have TMPFS, temporary file system mounts, right? This is completely temporary and it's stored inside our in memory. Okay, so these four type of volumes are there, are having their some features. So all these four volumes are categorized by using these features like persistent, use cases, performance, management, and command. Okay, so now let's see very first volume, which is named volume. So named volume is persist across all the containers and mainly it is used for sharing data with the containers, right? And its performance is good. And this named volume is managed by Docker, right? See here we are creating a volume, Docker volume create command, and then we are giving the name for our volume. So here I'm giving name of the volume as a my underscore volume, and then I'm going to use this my volume inside my container. So here if you see Docker run, in order to use our volume we have to give -v, and then we have to give the named volume, whatever the name that we have given, then colon, and then here we have to give our path for our container data, right? So don't worry if you're not able to understand as of now. It would be more clear once we'll have our practical demonstration. Now let's see the next type of volume, which is anonymous volume. So mainly anonymous volume is used for temporary storage and that is associated with only one container. right? So anonymous volume is not shareable, first of all, right? And that is used for temporary data and caching, okay? And it's having a good performance, and that is also managed by Docker. And here if you see the differences in the command, here we have to provide -v, and then after that we have to just provide our container path. So here we are not providing any named volume name, right? I'll show you the differences in our practical demonstration. Now let's move to the third volume, which is bind mount or host volume. So host volume is completely depend upon host file system, right? And mainly it is used for development and debugging purpose, and its performance is totally depend upon host file system, right? And this is managed by user. So this is the only one volume which is managed by host system or user, right? And rest all the other volumes are managed by Docker. And here if you see the command which we have is, here we are giving our volume as a -v, and then here we are providing the path for our host system, right? And then we are providing colon, and after colon we are providing this container path, right? Now let's move and see the volume, which is temporary file system, TMPFS. Okay, so TMPFS is completely ephemeral and it's in memory. It means whenever our volumes get restarted or it's getting stopped, memory will be lost, and it's quite fast because it's in memory, and its performance is very fast, and it is completely managed by Docker. And if you see the command, which, and here we have to provide option --tmpfs, and here we have to provide path for the container for the data which we want to store, right? So might be you won't be getting the complete picture as of now, but believe me, once we will have our practical demonstration, you will have the clear idea about all these volumes. Okay, now further let's move and see what all the basic commands we have related with the Docker volume. So the very first command which we have, docker volume create, which is used to create a volume, right? And the second command which we have is docker volume ls, which is used to list out all the volumes, all the created volumes, right? And the third one which we have, docker volume rm, which is used to remove one or multiple volumes. And the last one which we have is docker volume inspect, which is used to display detailed information about one or more volumes, right? So these all are very simple commands related with the Docker volume, and we will see in all these commands in our practical demonstration. So now let's further move and deep dive into the practical. Okay, now let's flip to the Visual Studio. So here inside our Docker project, I have created a README file, and in this README file, I have provided all the required commands. Okay, so this is the command that I have provided for the named volume, and for anonymous volume, and for host volume, and for our temporary file system volume. Okay, and I have already committed this code to my GitHub repository. So if you want to take the reference, you can take it from there. So now let's create our first volume. I'll open a terminal here, Control J. Let's maximize it, and side by side I'll open our Docker desktop as well. Okay, right. So here now we are going to create our first volume. So we know that our command is docker volume create command, right? So here docker volume create command. Okay, and then we have to provide our volume name. So here I'm going to create a volume for nginx. Okay, nginx underscore volume. Okay, so now my volume is created. The second command, which was to see the list of all the volumes. So what was that? Docker volume ls, right? So now it will show you the list of all the created volumes. So as of now I have only one volume, so here I'm able to see only nginx volume. Okay, now the third command was we can inspect this volume, right? So how we can inspect that? Docker volume inspect, and we can provide this volume name, right? And press enter. Now see, we can see here when this volume was created and what is the driver associated, what was the label, we have not provided any label, and where it's being mounted, and what is the name of the volume, right? And what is the scope of this volume. Okay, now the last command which we have seen is remove command, right? So how we can remove our volume? As a docker volume rm, and then we have to provide our volume name. So it will remove our volume. So now our volume is removed. So we can check it, docker, and here inside our volume section, now we cannot see any volume, right? Because I have removed my volume here. So docker volume ls. See, there is no volume as of now. And now let's see our first volume, which is our named volume, right? So here, make it clear. So here I'm going to use the same command docker volume create engine annex volume. Okay. So it's going to create a volume. See here at the right side in the Docker desktop, my volume is created. Okay. Now the second thing, we have to associate this volume to our container. So how we can do that? So we know that how we can create our container as a Docker run -d, right? -d is to detach the container from the terminal. Okay. And then we have to provide our container name. So here I'm going to provide my container name as a one -nginx named volume container one. Okay. And we know that after that we have to provide port. So here I'm going to provide hyphen port container on 8080 port, and inside the container we are exposing this application at port 80. Okay. And after that we have to just provide our volume. So here I'm going to give as a tag. So here I have to give option as a -v, and then we have to provide our named nginx volume. So we'll give the same name here as well, and then we will provide the colon. And the second option here, we will provide the path for the container. Okay, so here the path for the container is user share nginx html. Okay, so this is the path for the container where data is going to be stored, and that data is going to be stored inside our this nginx volume, right? And then after that we have to give our image name. So image name I'll give nginx, right? And press enter. So as of now we don't have any image for nginx in our local machine, so it's going to pull from Docker Hub, right? So now it's pulling the image from the Docker Hub. Now if you see here inside our images, see our images got created, and now our container also got created. So see here inside our container got also created, and our container should be running on 8080 port. So see here we are seeing the our index page here on port 8080, right? And now if you see the volume, if you see here we are seeing the nginx volume, and this volume is associated with this container, right? And it's having the two file 50x.html and index.html. How? See here, if you see this container and go inside this container, and here you go to the file, and inside the file you have the user, and then we have share, and then we have nginx. Here we have nginx, and then we have html, and in html if you see that we have 50x.html and index.html. These two files are there, and if you see here it's mentioned as a volume, right? These folders is having the data, and this data is associated with the volume, right? So what will happen if this container got crashed, but still this data will be available? Getting my point? Now let's go inside this container by using command. So here I will go inside this container. So how we can list out our container? Docker ps, right? So here we have our container. Now we have to get inside this container. So we know that we have a command as a docker execute -it interactive terminal, and then we have to provide our container name or container id. So here we will give our container id and then sh, right? So now we will be moving inside our container. Now see, present working directory is root directory. Now we are going to change our directory as a user share nginx html. Okay, so here I'll change the directory cd, and now here if you want to check how many files are there, so here we will ls la. So now if you see here we have two files, okay, 50x.html and index.html. And what we will do, we will update this index.html file, right? So in order to update that, we have a command echo command. So I'll use this echo command, and then whatever the text that you want to update, you can put it here. And after that, and here you can give two angle bracket right sided and then file name, right? So this text is going to be append inside this index.html. Now press enter, and we can exit from now this container. So exit. Now we have exited. Now if you see this, our data is getting updated, our file is getting updated. Great. Now what I'll do, I'll create another container as a container 2. Okay, so see here I'm creating another container name as a nginx named volume container 2, and passing the volume here as a -v, and then I'll give this path for our container file, and I'll remove this -v from here, right? Press enter. So now our second container is going to be created. So see here inside our container we have two container, right? And both of the container are sharing this shared volume. Okay, and now if you see here, come to this and run this container, it's running on 8081 port, right? So see, so our first container is running on 8080 port and second container is running on 8081 port, right? And both containers are sharing the shared volume, okay? And if I remove one container, but still our data will persist and that will be available for the second container, okay? So what I'll do here, I'll remove one of our container. So see, I'll remove our second container. So how we can remove our container? Docker rm, and then we will give the container ID. So what the container ID which we have is, or we can direct give the container name. So I'll give this container name and I will give -f. So it's going to be forcefully stop and remove. So now if you see here, my second container is stopped, but still this first container should be having up and running. So see, this my first container is up and running and which is having the same data because this data is being shared for both of the container. However, our second container is not running at all as of now. Okay, good. Now let's move to the second type, which is a anonymous volume, right? So now I'll make it clear, and here we have anonymous volume. So now let me use the same command here and explain you. Yeah, so if you see here, we know that how we can create our container by using our docker run -d command, and here we are providing our name for the container, right? And then after that we are providing the port for the container, and finally we are associating volume to the container. So if you see here, we have given -v, but we have not given any volume name here. Directly we are providing the path for the container where data is stored, right? So this is going to create a anonymous volume, right? Now let me show you how, and this is our image name, right? So now let's see how it's going to create an anonymous volume. Let's press enter. So if you see here, it's going to create another volume. Let's open it and see the second. Okay, this is the container which is having our anonymous volume. Now let's go to the volume and see here, this volume is having anonymous name. So some name is provided by the docker itself. Okay, and if you see, if you click on this, you will see it's in use by this container. Okay, and that volume is only applicable for this container only. Okay, and that volume cannot be associated by any other container. So that is known as a anonymous volume, and that is mainly used for caching purpose. Okay, where we are storing our cached data for a specific that particular container. Now we are going to see our third volume, which is our host volume or bind mounts. Okay, so now let's copy this and let's maximize it. Okay, so now let me explain you here. Same, we are using our docker run -d command. Okay, in order to create our container, then here we are providing our name of the container, and here we are providing our port. So already I used the port 808182, so here I am using our port 8083, right? And this 80 port is internally it's assigned from the docker to the container, and this port is exposed from the docker container. Okay, and now here we are giving volume, and if you see here, this is my host system path. Okay, for my computer, and as of now host is my computer. Okay, so I have provided path for my host system. Okay, and the second option after colon, if you see here, I have provided here container path, the data which I want to store inside my host system. Okay, and finally I have provided my image. Okay, now let's press enter, and here I'm missing docker. Okay, so here docker, press enter. So now here our container got created. So now let's see, if go inside our container, and here you can see the third one, nginx host volume container, and here we will find the most interesting thing. Now go to the inside this container, and here if you go to the bind mount, right? So see here, this is our destination, this is our container path, and here if you see, this is my host path, right? So I have created a folder as a c user kkyd desktop html, where all the data is going to be stored from this container, okay, to this path, right? So now let's run this container and see. So this container would be running on port 8083. So here I'm going to open this port and see, as of now we are getting a 403 forbidden error because we don't have any indexed file inside this. So I'll paste the index file over there. So let me go inside this container first and create a index file. Okay, so here I'll go inside this container. How we can go inside this container? Docker execute command, exec -interactive terminal, and then we have to provide our container name or container ID. So here I'll provide my container name and then sh in the shell command. Okay, so now we are inside our container. Okay, and now I'll go to this directory. Okay, so here change directory to this. Now let's see pwd present working directory is user share nginx html, and see what all the files we have. So we have command ls-la. Okay, so we don't have any html file there, right? So now let me create quickly one html file here by using our echo command. So here I'll use my echo command. Here we have to give only single angle tag. Okay, and here I'll give index.html, index.html, and press enter. Okay, now let's ls. So here you can see we have our index.html file got created. Okay, and now I can show you inside my this bind mount. Let's open see here html, and now you can see here we have our index file. Right, now let me just quickly delete this, and now here if you check ls, there is no file. Right, now let me quickly undo here, and now check here ls. So here we are checking from container inside, and container data is associated with my host file. So whatever the changes I am doing at my host, it's getting reflected inside the container, because this container is associated with host volume. Getting my point? And now if you run this container at, I think it's running on port 8083. Yeah, so see here we are seeing our HTML file over here. Got it? Now let's move and see our third volume, which is TMPFS, temporary file system. Okay, so here I'll exit from this existing container, exit, make it clear, and I'll use this complete command here. Okay, now let me explain you here. So simply here we are creating our container by using docker run-d name. So here we are providing our name for the container, and then we are providing port 8084. We are exposing this port, and then here is the important thing. Here we have to provide an option as a hyphen tmpfs, and then we have to provide the path for the our container. Okay, the data which we want to store, and here we have to provide our read write access. Okay, and I'm providing this option as a size equal to 100 MB. So this temporary file system is going to be having a size of 100 MB. Okay, and finally we have to provide our image name. Okay, now let's press enter. So as soon as you press enter, it's going to create a container. Okay, so now this my container got created. Okay, now let's see here, this is my fourth container, right? And fourth container is associated with temporary file system. Okay, see as of now we don't have any file here, right? So what I'll do, I'll go inside this container and create a file. Okay, let's go inside the container here, docker execute, and then I'll give this container name, but before hyphen it interactive terminal, and then container name, then sh cells. Okay, now we are inside this container, and now I'll move to this path cd. Now we are inside this path, and now I'll create the html file here. Okay, so here let me create html file by using our echo command, and here I'll give single angle tag. Okay, and here I'll give index.html. This single tag is going to create the file, and whatever the text that you have written, it's going to be written inside the file. And if you have given double tag, it means whatever the text that you have given, it's going to be appended in the existing file. Okay, so now it's going to create a new index.html file. Now here see ls, now file is created. Okay, but this file is created in memory. Okay, and if you restart this container, this file is going to be deleted from here. Okay, now let's see. Okay, first of all let's see how it is running here. So see, now on 8084 we are seeing our index file. Now what I'll do, I'll simply just stop this container. Okay, as soon as I stop this container, if you see that ls, sorry, it was not stopped so far, now it's stopped. Okay, so now if I restart this container, see I restarted now, and now again I'll go to this container again inside, and now I'll cd this, and then again I'll check ls. Okay, so our file should not be there. See, we don't have any file here because that file was stored inside the in memory. Okay, and whenever we start or stop our container, that in memory is going to be removed. I hope this is getting clear to you, right? And now in the other case, if you see this host volume, if I stop this, because still we have the data inside our host system. So, and if you run this again, still this is going to be running, and this is running on our 8083 port, right? So see, See, still we have our data. So it's not going to impact anything because these volumes are the persist volume. Okay. So friends, I hope these four type of volumes are clear to you. So the very first volume which we have is named volume, and the second volume which we have anonymous volume, and the third volume which we have host volume, and host volume is also known as a bind mount, and the fourth volume which we have temporary file system volume. Okay. So friends, I hope that this volume should be getting clear to you. And now let's quickly see that how we can create our volume inside our Docker Compose file. So if you remember that earlier we have created our Docker Compose file, and here we have separately we have created a volume section over here, and inside this volume we provided a named volume. So we can just provide a named volume, right? And this name volume can be associated with this service, right? And inside this service we have to give a property here as a volume, and inside this volume we similarly here also we can provide this named volume, and then after that the data which we want to store inside this named volume. Okay, and this is going to be used a lot inside our Docker Compose file. So friends, I hope that now you'd be able to understand that what is Docker volume and what all the different type of volume we have inside our Docker. Okay, in the very next video we are going to understand about Docker network. And now this come to the end of this video, and the very end of this video friends, there is a humble request to all of you. If you have learned something from this video, then please don't go without subscribing this channel, and please like, comment, and also share this video to your friends, to your colleagues, and the people who really need it. And that's all for the day. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep learning.